All right, and thank you all for joining us. And Dr. Bullis is here with us, so you're going to get the benefit of both of us at one time, which will help you, I think, in the long run, because that way you'll have some time to work and you maybe have your questions answered. And for those of you that don't have your video on, if you would go ahead and turn it on so we can see who you are and get started. So to start with, I'll go ahead and introduce myself, and then I'll ask Dr. Bullis to introduce himself, and then we'll let you all tell us a little bit about yourself. I am a retired school administrator. I started out teaching high school, and then I went from high school to a pre-K 6 assistant principalship, and then I was a principal for a pre-K through 8th grade school, and those were in Wilkes County. Then I came from Wilkes County to Yadkin County, where I was assistant superintendent for 4 years. And I ended my career with the public schools by being a superintendent in Yadkin County for 9 years. And then after I retired, I worked with Appalachian for 3 years. And then I started working with Gardner Webb as an adjunct. And that has been a really good fit for me because it allows me to hopefully share with you some of the experiences that I've had that may help you making some of the same mistakes that I did. And hopefully I have some knowledge that will help you move your schools forward. So that's just a little bit about me, and I'm going to let Dr. Bullis tell us a little bit about himself.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Bullis. Currently, I work for one of Dr. Todd's old alma maters. That's Wilkes County Schools. I am currently the director of federal programs, middle school instruction, and cultural arts. This is Wilkes County Schools started out as a high school EC teacher, and I worked my way into an assistant principalship at a junior high when there was a junior high in Wilkes County. Then I was an assistant principal at a K-8, and then it was turned into a K-5. I've been a principal at elementary and high school level, so all 3 levels. I was actually in the first doctoral cohort that Gardner Webb ever had for doctoral students. So I'm a charter member of Gardner Webb's doctoral program, and ever since I graduated, I actually been doing adjunct work for them. This is my 13th year as an adjunct for Gardner Webb. I've really done just about anything that you could do as far as working the master's doctoral program. I've been a dissertation chair. I've been an evaluator, clinical coach, a course instructor, but currently I'm doing what I absolutely love this the best, and that's being a clinical coach. I've done that I think for about 4 or 5 years now, and I really like working with the interns. So I'm looking forward to working with you all and just helping you through this program. So I'm not used to talking about myself, so I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to pass the microphone back over to Dr. Todd.
Okay, and now what I'd like for each one of you all to do is tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, what grade levels you work with, what your current position is, whether you're in North Carolina or South Carolina, what system you work with. So just a little bit about yourself and maybe why it is you want to get into school administration. And it doesn't matter to me who starts off, but if one of you will just go ahead and start and tell us a little bit about yourself. Okay, Megan.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening? I'm Megan Morgan. I am in Asheville, North Carolina. I have been teaching for 17 years. I'm an English teacher at Inca High School. I've been a little hesitant to join this program because I know it takes some time away from the family, and I still have a family. I don't actually know what's changed, but I'm really excited to jump in and see what kind of a difference that I can make from a different perspective. But nice to meet all of you guys.
Thank you. And who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Jonathan.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. My name is Jonathan Stovall. I am currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was referred to this program by Dr. Kate Alice Dunaway. She is currently our executive director at Invest Collegiate Transform. That's where I currently am located. I am also currently the 6th through 9th grade dean of students there as well, and just looking forward to this wonderful opportunity to learn and continue to grow.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. All right, who wants to go next? Dina? Deanna?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Deanna Aiken, and I live in Hendersonville, North Carolina, so really close to Asheville. I work for Henderson County Public Schools, and I'm a high school math teacher. I started out in Charlotte. I taught in Charlotte for 4 years at East Mecklenburg High School, and then I moved back. I'm originally from Hendersonville, so I moved back to teach at the high school where I'm at now. So I really would just enjoy to kind of have a chance to work with my entire school and lead teachers as well as students, because I really enjoy mentoring and helping teachers.
That sounds good. All right, who wants to go next? All right, I see a hand. Is that Amanda or is that someone else?
My name's Crystal Caps.
Crystal. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I am currently the testing coordinator at Wayne Prep Academy in Goldsboro, North Carolina. If I was in the classroom, this would be my 6th year teaching. I have taught almost every grade level. I started with kindergarten. I've taught 1st grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and I've had my hand in testing for a few years, so they wanted me to take over this position this year. As you can see, I'm currently using my daughter's dance teacher's office to come to class. From here on out, you'll see the soccer field behind me because my son starts soccer next week. So I just, stepping out of the classroom, I feel like just provided me an opportunity. I want to take my education further and be able to help not just make an impact on the kids in my classroom, but make an impact on how the school operates and just see our school just grow even more. We started out 5 years ago or 6 years ago now as a K-4 school, and we keep adding a grade level every year. And this year we are maxed out. Our attendance is over 900. And so we're K-9 this year. So I'm just excited to see how I can help make our school even better.
Sounds good. All right, Amanda raised her hand, so Amanda, we'll go to you next.
Hey guys, Amanda Jones. I teach high school math at West Davidson High School. I've been teaching, this will be my 15th year. We teach all grade levels. It just depends on the course that we teach. And I kind of want to be an administrator because of all the kids that kind of get left to the side. I want to make sure that they're good to go, as well as I've also been through good administrators and bad administrators. I want to make sure that my faculty and staff, when I become administrator, enjoys the fact that I am their administrator and find somebody that they can see a positive change or a positive influence with.
Okay, who wants to go next? All right, Jenny. And then Scott, I'll get you after Jenny.
Hi guys, my name is Jenny Burkhart. I also work at West Davidson High School. Amanda and I co-teach a lot together. So we decided that if you're going to do this, it's always easier if you have somebody going through it with you to bounce ideas off of and work together. I also teach math. This is going to be my 10th year. Again, we teach all different grades, but this year I will have 9th through 12th. I'm teaching Math 1, Pre-Calculus Honors, and AP Calculus. And I want to do this because I just want to make a difference. I believe in public education with my whole heart, and it is something near and dear to me, and I just want to be the best I can be at whatever I can, and this is one more step for me to be able to do that.
Okay, thank you. Scott.
What do I do? Just hit Make it bigger.
You don't.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I'm sorry. Hi, my name's Scott Wainwright. I down here in Brunswick County at South Brunswick High School. I'm a health and PE teacher for the past 5 years. I was CTE before that for 3 or 4 years. I'd have to look. I was a college basketball coach for 12 years. Been around all over the place, and really enjoy education at all levels, and really love teaching at the high school level. 45 years old, and I like options. I think I'd be a good administrator, and I am anxious to learn the craft and really kind of jump on in and continue learning. I just enjoy learning at all levels, and I just see this as a challenge that would continuously challenge me every day, and hope that I could meet that challenge daily.
Okay. Who would like to go next? I think we have about 3 or 4. All right, Clayton, I saw your hand first. So we'll go with Clayton.
Hi, everybody. Yes, thank you. My name is Clayton Griffin. I'm currently a high school band director, and I know it's a lot different for a lot of administrators currently, but I wanted to kind of bring that side of it to administration, just showing showing support for the arts and everything, and being able to implement that into the school that I will be placed at in the near future. I'm excited to learn a lot from the program, and get all of this experience, and being able to be in this cohort with all of you, so we can learn from each other. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
What county are you in, Clayton?
I'm teaching in Henderson, North Carolina, Henderson High School in Banff.
Okay. All right. Sarah, was it you that I saw your hand raised? Okay, we'll go with you.
I'm Sarah Colvin. I teach at Henry Chenwright Elementary School in Florence, South Carolina. We're a year-round school, and this is my 2nd year doing year-round, but this is my 5th year teaching math in 6th grade. And I really love it, but I always feel like I could be better. I'm a part of Florence One School, and I'm really excited about the class and learning and growing with you guys.
All right. Amy and Kayla, are you the 2 that I haven't heard from? Okay. Amy, you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Amy Plunk. I'm from Lincoln County. I teach 3rd grade, and I come from a family of educators, so it was just kind of in my blood. I wanted to do principalship about 13 years ago, and found out I was pregnant with my daughter, so I just kind of put that to the wayside, and now is a good time to go back and get this degree and just challenge myself to do my best. This is my 22nd year teaching, so I'm excited and ready for a change.
Okay. And Kayla?
Hi, I'm Kayla Tipton. I teach at Invest Collegiate Transform with Jonathan. This is my 2nd year at Invest. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is my 5th year teaching. I've been kind of in the charter world for like the last 3 years, and I've helped start / now reform a school back to its original mission. And a lot has been kind of gained through that experience of just kind of empowering and leadership, and how that makes or breaks a school, and how that impacts overall student achievement. So I find it very fascinating. Just a next step in the process of trying to help start better schools.
Okay. Now, at one point in time, I saw that Jaquia had joined us, but I don't see her now. So if she comes back on, help me remember to have her introduce herself just a little bit. So I think we've gotten everyone. One of the things I want you to realize is you all are going into administration for the right reasons. Is you want to make a difference. And I will tell you that the job of all the ones that I have had throughout the years that I loved the most was being a pre-K 8th grade principal. I absolutely loved that job. And the reason that it was such a fun job for me was the fact that you could see the children grow, but you could also see your faculty come together. And you could see the biggest difference in attitudes and in performance when everybody got on the same page. And then you could also have some fun. You know, once testing was over back when I was in the schools, you could actually have fun. And we did a lot of fun things. And that's one of the things my fear is that our children are missing, is we're not making it fun like we used to. And if we don't do that, the children are not going to give us their best. So somehow, even in this world of testing, and in this day and age when everything is bounced on data, we've got to figure out a way to make sure that the kids are having fun, and it's not all just because of tested material. So that is just Barbara Todd's philosophy, and I believe it. I also believe strongly that you don't teach the test, you teach the curriculum. And if you teach the curriculum, your children will test well. But where kids don't test well is when the curriculum hasn't been followed and teachers just teach what they want to teach instead of what the state tells us we're supposed to teach. That's a hard one to get teachers convinced of. But I actually watched it happen with some of my children, and also with the school where I was the principal. When we actually followed the curriculum, our kids did well. And sometimes we forget that, and we look too much at trying to teach how to take a test. We forget that if we don't cover the curriculum, it's not going to matter how many skills they have about taking the test if they don't have the knowledge. So we have to keep all of that combined. So that's just a little bit that I wanted to say up front, and that's a little bit about my philosophy, and you'll figure out more about it as we go along, because I will tell you some of the things that I think works and don't work. One of the things I want you to understand is Dr. Bullis and I are here to help you. So when you signed up for this course, you got the two of us, plus you also have one other person, your curriculum coach one, who will be coming to your school, will meet with you, and will meet with your principal, or whoever your site supervisor is, whatever that person is. So Gardner-Webb has put in this support system to try to make sure that once you start the program, you will be successful. At the first, it may seem very intimidating that there's so much out there, because if you look at all the information, we've got it out there for the whole year. I mean, the whole semester. You don't need to look about all of that now. You know, I don't want it all at one time in the first week of school, and then you don't have anything else to do the rest of the semester. And you don't want to do that either, because you're starting school in your own schools. So look at it as if you just do a little bit at a time, and it all comes together, and you will be fine. And there is enough support built in that you can call me, you can call Dr. Bullis, you can email either one of us. We can set up individual Zoom sessions if that's something that needs to be done, or we can talk to you on the phone, you know, so whatever. And the telephone number that I give you is my cell number, and I have a Carolinas plan, so it should not matter where in the North or South Carolina you call from. It shouldn't cost you anything because it's my cell phone. So just wanted to make sure that you understand we are here to help and support you. I always tried to be a principal and also a superintendent that was open. My door was open. And if people came through the hall and they had a question, it was fine for them to drop in. So that is the way I want you to think about it too. If you have a question, call me or send me an email, and I will try to get back to you. So I wanted to say all of that before we get into the nitty-gritty. But we are here to support you. If you will stick with us, then you will make it through this course and the next course, and you will get your master's degree in 5 semesters. The other thing I would say up front is if you find you are getting behind, please let Dr. Bullis and I know what's going on, because we can work with you as long as we know what's going on. Don't just drop off the face of the earth and not contact us and not do any communication with us. I have actually had students who did that. And I would keep trying to call. I even wound up calling their school because I was trying to find out, you know, is this person sick? Has something happened? And sure enough, with a couple of them, they had had surgery and they were out, and I understood why they hadn't contacted me. And then it just got pushed to the back of their mind, and all of a sudden it was time to grade. So keep us informed, keep us up to date, and we can work with you. Now I'm going to share my screen because we're going to talk about Blackboard and how to get around in Blackboard and some of the things that's required up front, so to make your life a little bit easier. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to start on the overview page, and I hope that they'll all be there, the ones that I have. All right, on this screen, you can see I've got just general information, but on this page, the one thing I want to point out is this. If you have not filled out the enrollment verification activity, you must do that. That is the very first thing that needs to be done. And that is Gardner Webb knowing that you're planning on coming and that you're going to be a part of this. Now, they will send me notification within a couple of weeks probably to make sure all of you have done this. And if you have not done this and you haven't turned in an assignment, then I will have to turn in that you never attended. So make sure, and I'm saying, of course, you all are here, but there's some that are signed up for the class that are not on this group. So I'm just saying that make sure that you do this so I will know that you're in the class. So there's other information there too. Now, I'm not sure. I have this on the student preview mode. So what I'm going to try to do next, I may have to close out and then come back because I'm not sure that the Zoom will catch all these pieces. But if you will look on the side of my screen, does what you're seeing, does it show course overview at the top and support services and all the way down? Does it have all the side tabs? Yes? Okay.
Yes, Dr. Todd, we can see it, yeah.
Okay. All right, what I would like for you to look, right now there are no Zoom teams because that's one of the first things you're going to let me know, because I will assign you to teams of usually 3 or 4 with the size class we've got. And I usually wait till the drop, at least the first week before I do this, so that maybe the teams will be finalized. Now, what the purpose of this team is, you all will be working in small groups, and in your small groups, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking and talking with each other about the tasks that you're completing for the APSL. And I will talk more about that later on. I'm not going to even introduce what the APSL is tonight. We'll do that next week, but I just want you to know that is the artifact. If you attended Dr. Lamb's session last night, that is the only artifact that you have to do this semester. And you get it spread out over the 16 weeks that we're in session. So this will be your peer review team group. It will also be your group whenever there's any case study work for you to do in a small group. And if there's other times that you need to work in small groups, that's the team you will work with. So if 2 of you are in the same school and you're going to be using the same data, you may want to send me an email and say, I want to work with this person because we're in the same school. So that would be a good thing for you to do. Now the next one, and I'm not going to click all of these because sometimes it doesn't change from the first place that it shows you, but the syllabus is next. The syllabus has the information that you need. Then you have a weekly class schedule, but I want you to look here. I take the time, not everyone does the same way, but I take the time to take each week and put the dates for the week so that you know what dates those are. And I'm going to try this, but it may not work if I click onto that, are you seeing anything different, or is it still the same thing? Do you see week 1?
We do, yes.
Okay. All right, it's working tonight, so that's a good thing. All right, what I try to do is I go in and this Dr. Lamb set up for everyone, or Dr. Stedman, one of the two of them. So this is the actual reading resources and some of the assignments. But I will also go in, and this is your first Blackboard assignment. So upload your contact information for your team members. And I've asked you to put this information, and we actually went over this. But what is really important to me is hopefully none of you are going to be in this situation. But should we get to the end of the semester and somebody has not turned in something and it's going to keep them from getting an A, I try to call you. And so I need whatever is the best number to get you, or the best email. So that's what I want there, and that's what I'm looking for. And then whenever your teammates will use this information to contact you once you are set up with a team. And then I will also put here the class Zoom session, and your agenda is here. I will go back, and this is where I will add, after tonight, the recording for this particular session. So you will find the sessions in the week that we are having the sessions. So that is where I want you to look. I also, if you've got an assignment, I will put a reminder note here, and I'll tell you where to go to look for it. Now, you see peer review materials, you see case study materials. Those are all things that you don't need right now, but you will later on in the semester. APA format materials. This is some things that you really need to pay attention to when you start writing your tasks. All of the evidences or the artifacts, your APSL, the entire thing is to be done with APA style. And APA has a particular way of how you label any figures you put in there, how you do your reference page. So look at that before you turn it in. Then the APSL tasks and prompts. I'll try here and see if it'll change. And I'm going to count on Dr. Bullis to tell me, yes, I'm seeing it. Okay. Now, these are the tasks. When we talk about the APSL, these are the tasks that you have to do. Now, this is just a thumbnail sketch. Now, we'll actually go in and talk about each one of these before we ask you to do them. So what the first one is, the very first thing you're going to be working on is, what's a PLC? And so after I get this orientation part done, we'll go back and we'll talk about that. So one of the things that you have to do is assume a leadership role in developing a PLC. And this PLC is going to look at data, you're going to do research, and then you're going to come up with a suggested course of action that you're going to talk to your administrative team about whatever your data is telling you that you all need to be focusing on. So one of the things that we're going to talk about, and one of the resources that you have for this week that you're going to be reading about, says there's 3 big ideas that go into professional learning communities. So we'll talk about those. Then the second task, whenever the first one is finished, it's called the Academic Needs Assessment. And so you're going to take this same group that you're going to be working with, and you're going to do collaborative research and analysis of any data that identifies a significant learning need that emphasizes digital learning. Look at it, look at your data. You know, in North Carolina, you'd look at the test data that you have available to you in your school, and then you would see, okay, what is a significant learning need that I can impact here? And so that's what you're going to be looking for there. Again, we'll give you more information. But what I want you to see is each one of these builds on the previous 1 or 2. Task 3 is best practices. So what you've identified in task 2 as your need, you're going to now be researching what is the best way and the best practices, the best strategies that you can use that will help you improve in whatever area you have identified. So again, you're building on each one. And then once you get to task 4, you are putting together your information and developing an action plan. Again, all of those we'll talk about separately right before you get ready to do them. And then task 5, and one of the things, I'm going to go ahead and say this now because I know Dr. Bullis and I have probably said it 17 times with every class that we've ever had. Don't get mixed up your competency folio with task 5, which is your reflection. And then you also will have to do competencies and dispositions. But the task 5 for the APSL is just your reflection about how you've grown, and it's combining 3 things. It's combining what you're doing in your internship, it's combining what you've done with this overview of this entire artifact, and it's combining what you are doing in the class, the reading materials, the discussions that we're having, the assignments that you have. So don't get mixed up and leave something out. So that's one of the things that you need to be looking at. And again, that's just a quick overview, but that is found here. So most of the information that you're going to need for the semester, you can find it in more than one place. Now, I want to go over when we are talking about the artifact tasks, and those were the things I just mentioned, the 5 tasks. You will actually, let's see if this one will open too. You've got a lot of information here, and some of it is the competencies, some of it is EVAS data, so there's a lot of information here. But what I want you to not necessarily worry about this particular set of information, but what I want you to look at and to think about is the number of times that you actually deal with each one of these tasks. So just to give you a timeline, and I am watching my time here, just to give you a timeline for the task 1, let's say, you will submit your draft of task 1 in the class shell under discussion board. And remember, I told you to look at it in the weekly information, and week 3 is when I have that you need to turn in your draft of task 1. You put it in discussion board, and notice this is the symbol for discussion board. Up above at week 3, this is the symbol for assignment. So I always try to put down here just to remind you where to go. Now, most of the time with the discussion boards, this also takes you directly to the link. I have it directly linked. So in week 3, you have your draft of task 1. So that's the first time you submit it. Now then you're going to, in Dr. Bullis's shell, you're going to submit task 1 to him for him to review. That's the second time you submit it to somebody. Then after you have gotten the information that he's given you, your peer reviewers have given you, and that I have given you, then you come back to assignment Dropbox. Let's see if it's going to open. Yes. And you see there's a place for each one of these. APSL task 1 for evaluation. That is where you have your revised document. Dr. Bullis has looked at it, I've looked at it, and your peer reviewers have looked at it. Okay, that's 3 times for each one of the tasks. Then there is a 4th time that you turn it in, and that is when you put the entire document together. And I believe Dr. Bullis wants to look at it when you get the entire document together. And then I want to see it And where you will do it after you've got all the revisions and after Dr. Bullis has approved it, is you will turn it in to me under APSL, turn it in, check. And that is where you will, it has to be all 5 of them put together based on APA. So that is when I will look at it. And what the turn it in check is doing, if you're not familiar with turn it in, it is looking for how much, it's actually looking for plagiarism. And it's looking to see if you've used somebody else's work. Now, sometimes if 2 of you are in the same school and you're using the same data, you all may have higher scores, and we understand that. But somewhere along the line in your references, you note that, so it won't be held against you. So that's the way. And whenever I see it the last time after Dr. Bullis has looked at it fully together, you turn it in to turn it in. I get a score that's an appropriate score. Then I will tell you to submit it to TaskStream. And you do not submit it to TaskStream until the whole thing is put together and it's all been approved by the 2 of us. And most of the time, if you follow this process, you will get your 3 or above, which is what you have to have in order to be successful on the artifact. And Dr. Bullis and I really try to catch as many things as we can so that when it goes there, it takes the evaluator next to no time to find all the pieces that they're looking for. Now, one of the things that I always recommend when you're doing your tasks, and we'll go over this as we start to work on the task, is don't be creative. And when I say that, I'm talking about your subheadings. Use what they give you. So if they say the first prompt is what is a PLC, guess what? Your task 1 should be exactly what it says it is. And then if you're going to use subheadings, you might have whatever it's calling for, and we'll go over that. But there is a place to be creative, but when you're trying to get your evaluator to find your stuff quickly, that is not the time to be creative. And you don't want to write it all together in one big long paper and then they have to go hunt for everything. Remember, your evaluator is someone that has not looked at this at all, and they can't tell what you're thinking. And they don't know you, and they don't know your school. So they need to follow the rubric, which is what we will both, Dr. Bullis and I will both go over with you and teach you and say, this is what you've got to have. And that's what we look for. And so it makes it so much easier when it is labeled exactly in the same order as the rubric. I used to be an evaluator just like Dr. Bullis was. And at one point in time, I helped create notes for the evaluators. Now, it's been a few years, so I know what we were looking for. And we were looking for all of those topics that's in the rubric. So this is not the time to be creative. That's at a different point in time. So I wanted to make you really familiar with the Blackboard. And do you have any questions? Because I'm going to stop sharing this. Now, do you have any questions? Did I go over that clearly enough, and is it easy for you to follow? And remember, I will have this, and you can go back and refer to it.
Dr. Todd, can I kind of interject and follow up on that? Yeah. And don't worry, because as Dr. Todd is talking to you, I'm having the luxury of looking at some of the side screens and seeing some of your eyeballs get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's okay. You're going to hear this process before you're held accountable for what you've heard. You're going to hear how to do it several times. You're going to hear from Dr. Todd again. You're going to hear from me again, and we're going to guide you. This is just an overview. So just trust the process. We've both been doing this for a long, long time, and we, you know, without being, you know, bragging or whatever, we've both been successful with the candidates that we've worked with. That's why we're in this first cohort. And of course, there's some other first cohorts with some other course instructors. But you'll hear this over and over again. You'll see this process again. You'll see Dr. Todd go through this with you again. I'll go through you with it again. We'll keep track of what you do. And if we see that you need a little more guidance, we'll give it to you. A good tip is, as Dr. Todd said, this is being recorded. When these sessions are being recorded, what I've always found helpful is to get my cell phone and to put the timer on. And when the recording starts, I hit my timer. So I'm timing this session. If Dr. Todd says something that's very important that I want to try and remember, and I can't take the notes down fast enough, I'll look at my timer, and whatever my timer says, I'll write those minutes on a piece of paper. Then when I go back and view the recording, I can fast forward in the general area. There's going to be a little bit of change, but in the general area, for like at 5 minutes and 52 seconds into this presentation, Dr. Todd said something I want to remember. Then when I go back and look at the recording, I fast forward to 5 minutes and 52 seconds, and there I'm going to find that tidbit of information that I wanted to be sure and capture. So just as we're beginning this process, that might help you. That way you don't have to go back and look at the whole 45 minutes or the whole 30 minutes to try to find that one piece of information you were looking for. Keep these recordings and refer to them as needed. But just know that that's why Dr. Todd and I are going to be working with you together for the first 2 or 3, I think the first 4 sessions. And then we're going to break out into separate sessions, but want to make sure that your baseline is really good and steady before we move forward. Thank you, Dr. Todd.
Thank you, Dr. Bullis. And the other part is Dr. Bullis and I are going to communicate. We've actually known each other for several years. And I think he may have followed me at the school that I was at, but I'm not sure. So we've known each other a good long time. So we're going to communicate, and we're trying, if one of you gets really confused by something I said, ask him, and vice versa. We will talk with each other. We're here as a team to help you. And that's what I want you to really understand. And I really appreciate you saying that, Dr. Bullis. That's a wonderful tip. I hadn't even thought about that, but that's great. One thing I do need to talk to you about that they want us to go over is the incomplete grade policy. Pretty much you have to be on target and something comes up of a medical or some emergency in order for us to give you an incomplete. And I think you're supposed to have about 80% of the work completed, and then we can work with you if that comes up. Now, that's why I said early on, make sure you let us know what is going on with you. We want you to be successful, and we will be here for you this entire semester. And if something does happen, and none of us know what's going to happen in our world, but just keep us informed so we'll know why something's not coming in. And in the same way, I will let you know if I'm going to be gone for a few days, or if I can't get back to you quickly, why. So that, we will communicate back and forth. So anyway, with the incomplete grade, we can give that to you, but there are certain criteria. I think it's 75 to 80% of the work has to be finished, and then there has to be some kind of an extenuating circumstance. But it is also on the sidebar if you want to look at it. Now, one of the things that I need to review with you, and I noticed it was a question last night, how's attendance taken? Well, attendance is taken from your participation in discussion board. That is the way online attendance is taken. Now for tonight, I actually wrote down everybody who I had a class list. So I just checked your names off, and I checked also if, as you were talking, I checked your names off. So we might not have that much time each session, and so that's where the discussion board comes in. So I tried for these first few weeks for the discussion board to be something very simple, like tell us about yourself. And I think next week I may have put in there for you to let me know if there's anybody you needed to work with. So that's the way your attendance is going to be taken. I think that you're supposed to be present 75% of the time. So try to keep up. And if you get behind, do 2 weeks at a time and get caught back up. And then I think that's also in my syllabus. So I'm going to stop right this minute, and we've got about 15 minutes left. So before I introduce a professional learning community and we talk about that briefly, I want to get any questions that you might have for Dr. Bullis and I. Yes, Amy.
Okay, sorry. So every Tuesday night we will be on here like this, and then there's also a Thursday night that we're going to be on as well, like just for the first 4 weeks. Is that what I understood last night?
Okay, Dr. Bullis and I have adapted that. We're meeting together because, first of all, it is beneficial for us, but secondly, we think it's beneficial for you all. So we're going to meet together, and if there's more that you need from us, you contact us directly. But we're not going to actually start meeting individually until later on. I think it's around week 4, maybe. And so that will be your first session with Dr. Bullis by himself, and I'll take the Tuesday of that week with my session. So we're doing something a little bit differently from what Dr. Lamb mentioned. But you also have to remember that I'm retired, Dr. Bullis is still working, and so we have to come up with what will work for us, as well as we think these first few weeks that it's going to be more beneficial to give you the time to work than it is to meet with us for 2 hours. So that's where we're coming from. And we talked about it, and that's what we decided we would do. And if, you know, like I said, we're still here for you if you need to meet with us separately, or if you need us to have another session. But we thought we would try this, and then as you get more into your tasks is when we'll split up. That help, Amy?
Yes. So just Tuesday night this week, both of you together.
That's correct. Just okay. Tuesday night for this week and 2 more.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And if that upsets anybody, let us know, but I didn't think it would. All right. Any other questions? That's a real good question, by the way, because it is a little bit different. But, you know, we just are looking at, we know you all are also starting school. And we figured that it could be our present to you to let you have an hour off for these first 3 weeks. Because we know we'll get your time when you get into the task. So we're not too worried about it. All right. The one thing that I will talk with a little bit, and I want you to answer me and to talk with me. When I say the term professional learning community, what does that mean to you? Give me some ideas. Don't be afraid to talk. Just think of us. This is where we're sitting in a classroom and you're volunteering. All right, Jenny?
To me, that is where you meet with other teachers that teach similar things that you do, and you go in and discuss and try to make your classes uniform yet different at the same time. So if it works well in one class, how can you adapt that so that it works well in your class? Or if you have a strength and your teammate has a weakness, you share that with them and vice versa. And you use it to benefit the students so that they're receiving, one set of kids that has teacher A is not receiving a stronger education because teacher B is a little weaker at one topic.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to add? That's a good answer. Anybody have anything else to add? All right. One of the things, as you're reading in your list of materials this week, one of the things that you're going to see is one of the articles talks about that for it to be a true professional learning community, there's 3 big ideas, and it's at the bottom of your agenda. And those 3 big ideas are all part of ensuring that your students are going to be learning. And I'm not going to go into what the article is. I'm just going to tell you that the high spots to get you to think about the professional learning community that you have to create for use in your school for this particular course. And the first one is a culture of collaboration, and that's exactly what Jenny was talking about. You are meeting with colleagues and you're working together and you're trying to strengthen each other. The second one is focusing on results. And again, what she said there was that if one of you is stronger in something than another one, then you try to help each other have the same skills so that the students benefit. And then the whole focus for all of that is ensuring that your students are learning. So those three big ideas are ensuring that your students are learning, you're collaborating with people in your school, and you're looking at results. You want your students to be successful, just like Dr. Bullis and I want you to be successful. You're there for your students and we're there for you. And so as you're thinking about setting up your professional learning community, you have to get it set up pretty soon, because in the third week you have to have your draft. And I'm going to go over what is expected in your draft next week. But you have to go, you have to think about who is it that you want to work collaboratively with you on this data that you're looking at. And so, you know, it could be your fellow teachers. You may want an administrator to be part of it. Dr. Bullis, you have anything else you would like to add about that as they're looking about setting up their PLCs for this particular artifact?
Yeah, thank you. And I don't know if your clinical coach one has been out to visit you and met with your site supervisor yet. If not, go ahead and let your administrator, go ahead and let your principal know what you're doing and what this first task is, because having their permission to set up a professional learning community and also having their experience in setting up a professional learning community can really be a big benefit to you right now and help that move a whole lot smoother than if you go in and try to do this without your principal knowing about it. So make sure that you do that, make sure that they're aware of that. And that actually, when you look at the rubric, that's one of the tenets of the rubric, is making sure that you've got permission from your administrator to, first of all, form a professional learning community and organize it and meet to look at this process as you're beginning to ensure student learning is occurring in your building.
All right. Any other questions? We've got about 6 or 7 minutes left for our hour. I don't want to start anything new because I feel like I have hit you with a lot of stuff. And you may feel like you're glazed over because I've talked about Blackboard and where things are. But I think if we can get started being familiar with where things are and where you have to put your answers on Blackboard, your life will be much simpler. And so will mine, and so will Dr. Bullis's. Now, one thing I need to make sure I mention to you is Dr. Bullis has a class shell just like I do. And it is for your internship, and it is where you turn in your copies of the tasks for him to review. So you actually will have 2 class shells that you're working with, my class shell and Dr. Bullis's clinical coach shell. So those are the 2 that you work with. And then I went over how many times you have to submit your task and where you submit them to. So go ahead, Dr. Bullis.
Yes, thank you. And don't worry, we'll take a look at I refer to it as a course shell and an internship shell. Course shell is Dr. Todd's, the internship shell is mine. You don't need to be in the internship shell right now. If you see it, that's fine. Don't feel like you have to go in there yet. I will take you on a tour of that and show you what that process looks within the internship shell at a later time. Right now, you just need to be more familiar with Dr. Todd's shell and getting started class there before you worry about the internship shell or task stream. You don't need it right now, so there's no sense in worrying about it or sharing it with you at this point. Like I said, let's get this base, this foundation built really strong, and then we'll build upon that.
And I think that's one thing to remember is baby steps. It's 1 week Once this week is over, it actually ends next Monday night. Once this week is over, you will have 1 out of 16 weeks finished, and then you have 15 more. So you're not going to need to accomplish it all at one time. You've got the whole semester to do it, and it's broken down to where what's expected of you makes sense, and you can do it. Just remember that you're doing this for the right reasons. You want to make sure that you learn more, but you also want to be able to help on a broader basis than what you can in a classroom. And that's the right reasons for going into school administration. All right, I think we have about 5 minutes. If no one has anything else or you don't have any questions, I will end the meeting and I'll let it start saving, and I'll put it on YouTube, and then I'll post it at the bottom of week 1. So any other questions or comments from anyone? Dr. Bullis, thank you so much. And all of you, thank you for joining us. And I hope we have been able to calm your fears and let you realize it is doable and that we're there for you. And we really are. Dr. Bullis is right. Neither one of us brag too much about ourselves. But if the students have stayed with us, I don't think there's been a one that we haven't gotten through. So, but the key is staying with us and just making sure that you do let us know what's going on. Okay? All right. Have a great week, and I hope you enjoy this whole semester.
Good night, everybody.